Hey guys, so I wanted to go through the point of view notes that we went over in class, and this is in hopes that it'll be a review for you and so that parents can see what we're doing in class and hopefully we can create a little bit more understanding. Okay, so let's go through this again. These are all of the notes that we used. This is the PowerPoint that we used. And so we're just going to go through it again, kind of talk about it. Alright, so let's go through the pictures first. Okay, so remember we talked about this one, different perspectives, different points of view. From this side, you can see here that the person on this side sees 1, 2, 3, 4 logs, but then the person on this side only sees 1, 2, 3. Okay, so just depending on where you stand is what you see. That was something that we talked about, whether that's something physical like this, depending on where you're standing as to what you see, or your belief systems can determine what we believe also. And a lot of people thought this one was funny. So perspective. The really short person thought the puddle was very deep, but the very tall person did not think that the puddle was very deep. So this really is all about perspective. So we can think about, like, if someone feels like they're drowning, then this could be a good picture representation of different points of view, different perspectives. Okay, so my definition of point of view is how you view a situation based on the things that you've experienced, the things you believe, and how you're related to the subject. And we talked about how these things that we experience can persuade or drive the things that we believe, and vice versa. And then how you are related to the subject, just what you believe, how you see things, maybe what your family believes. Maybe it's where you live. Where you live could be part of how you're related to the subject. If it's something that we don't deal with here in the South, then we might not have the same point of view about a situation as maybe someone from the North who does deal with something, of that sort. We might have different points of view than they do. So just some other different words for point of view is viewpoint, perspective, and opinion. I'm probably going to use the word opinion and perspective just as much as I say point of view. Okay, so let's talk about the different kinds of point of view. So first person point of view. The narrator is a character in the story. Oh, and by the way, for parents, I have put on Google Classroom an electronic copy of the notes that students have. So just get their login information. You can see that worksheet as well, that note sheet. Okay, so first person point of view, the narrator is a character in the story. We're going to see this one a lot in a lot of stories that we read and that we see. It's fairly common. We only know in first person point of view what that character knows, witnesses, and thinks. Okay, and some of the pronouns that we use are I, me, my, we, us, and our. So we're going to use first person pronouns for first person point of view, and you'll kind of see that that correlation with all of the different points of view. Okay, so second person point of view. The narrator is not a character in the story. Second person point of view is not commonly used. The pronouns are you, your, and you are. So some of the things that you might see is, like, when you see second person point of view, is in a letter. If the narrator is writing a letter and using the pronouns you and your, talking directly to the characters in the story. Okay, so third person point of view, there's 3 different kinds, and it's limited, objective, and omniscient. And once again, the pronouns correlate with the point of view, and so our pronouns are he, she, it, him, her, his, they, them, and also direct names, proper nouns. So third person limited, the narrator is not a character in the story, but tells the story, actions, and thoughts of one of the characters. And we only know what that one character knows. So this one's fairly common. This is probably the most common one. We're going to see this anytime that a narrator focuses on one character, and we can hear the thoughts of that one character. We know the feelings of that one character, but it's not coming from the character. It's not saying, I feel this way, or, we're inside their mind listening to them, say, I don't like this, or I like this. It's going to be he or she or they. Okay, third person objective. The narrator is not a character in the story and can only tell what is said and done. We don't know the thoughts or opinions of any of the characters. So this is basically just when we're observing. And that's something, remember that I said objective starts with OB, just like observe. Okay, so objective, observe. And we're going to watch what is going on. Okay, so we don't know what they're thinking. We don't know what their opinions are. We don't know what their feelings are. The only time that we would know any of that is if they say it out loud, or, if there's body language that, associates with certain emotions, we might be able to figure out, how they're feeling. But we don't know, we cannot get inside of this kind of character's mind from this point of view. Okay, so third person omniscient. The narrator is not a character in the story, but is all-knowing. We know what all characters do, think, feel, and witness. So this is when the author knows everything about everybody. Omniscient, it means all-knowing. Okay, so this narrator is not a character themselves, but they know what all of the characters are thinking, feeling, witnessing, and doing. I didn't include this on like in our class, but I thought that this would be a really cool thing to do, especially for you and your parents to kind of talk about and discuss maybe with your interest and what you guys do as a family. So in class, why this matters is because it's an element of a short story, and we are focusing on short stories in this unit. And also, understanding stories comes a majority from understanding who's telling the story, why are they telling the story. And so just complete understanding, it helps to get that complete understanding. And then also, what type of conflict relates to point of view. And we talked about conflict a little bit. We'll go into more detail about that, but just remember that that conflict and point of view do have a relation. We'll talk about that more later. And so let's think about in life, points of view. So Captain America versus Iron Man, and you guys know that this is always my example. But Captain America versus Iron Man. Iron Man thought from his point of view that he was correct, right? And then Iron Man, from his perspective, he thought he was right. And so, it just kind of shows us the different perspectives, the different points of view, why we might stand for something rather than for something else. This is kind of an older topic. It's still affecting some people, but the NFL, how you view what's going on in the NFL, or what was going on in the NFL with people kneeling during the national anthem. Your different perspective, your different opinion, affects your point of view on such topics. And that also includes the violence that has been happening in our country. And, so you just have your different stances, different opinions and points of view on that. And also media. The media can persuade our opinions and our points of view. And so we just have to be aware of the different points of view that are out there, and how the media might persuade us in one way or another. Okay, so we talked about these. I actually, since we talked about these, and I'm sending out this this slideshow to everyone just to have to reference. I won't read these again, but I do challenge you as a family, as you're looking at this video together. Once the video is over, I challenge you to either find or write your own version of these three passages. So kids, explain to your parents kind of what we did with this. I'll briefly talk about it. The three passages for three different points of view of the same story. Okay, so kids, go ahead and give them a more detailed rundown, and I challenge you to come up with your own. I challenge you to pick a story that your family, likes, that everyone in your family likes, and do the same thing that I did with these three. Just three different points of view of the same story. Can be different characters, can be, a different narrator point of view. But I think this would be something that's fun, and I can't wait to see the different things that you guys come up with. Okay, if you have any questions, please let me know. I'm more than willing to help. Thanks.